I'm Marny Nesher, publisher of the Central New York Business Journal, and would like to welcome everyone to our latest CNY Business Journal interview series. Continue to stay up to date by viewing our website daily at CNYBJ.com regarding the news and impact that the coronavirus is having on all businesses in Central New York. Now I have the pleasure to welcome Peggy Dickman, owner of Dickman Farms, a family-owned business located in Auburn, New York. Peggy, thank you for joining me.
Marty, nice to see you. It's been 6 months since you awarded us the honor of the Multi-Generation Family Business Award, and boy, has a lot changed since then. So good to see you.
Perfect. So actually, my first question is, those unfamiliar with Dickman Farms, if you would share with us, what type of farm is it?
So we are a 12-acre production greenhouse, and we have a retail garden center. We grow inside and outside, and we plant about 18 million little starter plants every year.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. Tell me about your customers. Are they more individual consumers? Are they landscapers, or perhaps are they a mixture of both?
So Dickman Farms is a wholesale growing industry, as well as having our garden center, which really is like another customer. So we have a mix of 3,000 growers, about 85 independent garden centers that we ship to, and we ship to all the Wegmans stores everywhere, which has been great. And our garden center part is landscapers and consumers, a mix of both. We have a Club Dickman online e-newsletter of about 7,500 customers that you can get gardening tips every week, get new varieties, see our events, and if you're not on it, sign up online. And for everybody, it's a very nice piece, and it's free of charge, and we don't solicit.
So tell us about your family business. How many generations are you currently, and who in your family is working on the farm?
So the Dickman Farms has been in business since 1903, so it's 118 years. My husband, Dave, and I are fourth generation. We took over the business with his brother, Jim Dickman, in 1996 when his parents, Dick and Dorothy, decided to retire, and they are still working today. They're 87 years old, and they come in every morning. And our current general manager is our nephew, Bob. So he's been with us, and he has a 4-year-old son who's now 6th generation, Cole, and he comes to work usually every day, and mostly comes in to see Aunt Peggy to get some money to go into the snack machine. So I think that's what he thinks is work. But he is here, so we're on 6 generations.
So let's talk about the pandemic a little bit. The pandemic seems to have hit the agricultural sector really hard. What factors make agriculture so vulnerable to this disease?
Well, Marty, most agriculture is labor intensive, especially for seasonal labor, and it's been a tough year for seasonal laborers. We also hire seasonal laborers, and we had to not have them this year because of the pandemic.
That actually was one of my questions. So how did this affect your business if you can't hire seasonal laborers?
So we could hire them, but we were our normal force of employees. Everybody with COVID, it was very scary, the unknown, and a lot of these seasonal workers come from dairy farms or out in the country, and that's where it kind of blew up. The ticking started, and we just decided to just stay with our current force because of the unknown and transporting them and the closeness. We couldn't keep the 6 feet distancing. Fortunately, we were deemed essential. Well, we were deemed essential. We were not essential. We were essential there for touch and go for about 3 days. But we just kept planting, and we did have to cut our production 50%.
Okay, so 50%. So how did the pandemic affect your business overall, other than having to be cut by 50%?
So at one point in the beginning, we thought we were going to have to just throw everything out. We didn't know how we were going to get it planted, get it out. But the demand peaked incredibly from garden centers to the growers because there was nothing else to do. People were home, people were working from home, and they wanted to do their yard. They want to landscape. They want to start a garden. They want to plant plants. They want to do things they've never been able to do, enjoy their home. No vacations this year. So they just put their heart and soul and their pocketbook into their homes. And that happened for garden centers all over the country. Saw that uptick.
All right, well, that's positive. I like to hear that for you. Business picked up in that respect. What about, do you have a sense of how many other farms were able to get through the pandemic?
So when you say farms, I think of dairy farms. I think we're considered a farm where we're agricultural because we grow vegetables and plants that we supply to, say, Wegmans and to the consumer, tomatoes, peppers. The dairy farms were hit hard. It's hard to understand, Marny, that they had a lot of milk and they had to dump, but yet you could only buy limited 2 gallons at the grocery store. I think that they're really struggling, the dairy farms. As far as garden center farms, horticultural, I think luckily we saw an uptick, and I think things are above normal for us, but we didn't see that coming, so it was a nice perk, and it was able for us to keep our employees as well.
That's good to know. I'm glad you're able to keep your employees working during this period of time. So what about some of the other challenges that face family farms in Central New York? And I know that you're not dairy, but if you look at it holistically.
I think that everyone is surviving. Of course, everyone's out to support the farms. The government PPP programs certainly helped all farms. That helped you to keep your labor. And they're a forgiven loan if you do meet the criteria, which most people will with their payrolls. And just education. Our Cuba County Health Department has been wonderful. They actually came to us on our request and educated our employees right when it happened. They answered their questions, calmed their fears, said it was here to stay, what to do with the news, turn it off, family members, and it pumped down the fear in our business and some other, they went to other businesses after ours because the fear was known and we were ready to open. Employees were ready to open. It was, let's go. We got this. We can do it.
So thank you, Peggy. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I know since this is such a busy time, you have to get back in there, and it's a beautiful view to see all your beautiful flowers out there. And I know that you do.
Weather's been on our side and the farmers, so.
Yeah. And I know that you can get your specialty flowers during the holiday season over at Wegmans, right?
And you'll see Memorial Day we were there. You'll see some of our product now. Our products are planted on their outside at their entrances. But you can also come here and shop. The other thing you made me just think of, before we opened, we decided not to, just because of the fear. We did curbside. And curbside was off the wall. We couldn't keep up with it. And people were happy. They were just coming in for a seed packet. Pull in, go give them their seed packet. A tomato plant. Anything that they could put dirt and measure it with. When we opened, we had to stop curbside because it was so labor intensive. But we have all the protocols, and we've had no issues whatsoever with the protocols and making people feel safe here.
Wonderful. Thank you. And it's a beautiful facility that you have. Anyone who has an opportunity to go down, we'll place your address at the bottom of the screen, and so that we can share that. It's a great place. And thank you so much for joining me, Peggy. And everyone, please continue to stay healthy during this time. Every one of us has certainly been impacted, but we will persevere as a community. We are certainly resilient. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marny.